Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 9 of the foundation challenge. So I am going super easy tonight because I'm going to come home in the morning and make a breakfast recipe. I was looking last night. They have, if you're not vegan, they have tuna recipes on there. Well, just one, actually, as far as I know. But anyways, they have tuna recipes. And I was thinking, well, okay, how does that compare to vegan tuna? Which, I don't know if you guys have tried this or not, vegan tuna. I really like it, it's really good. But, so I looked at it, it's okay. I looked at it, I looked it up actually. And so this is packed in oil, which there's no other way to get it. So we usually, what we do is we open it and put the lid on a little bit sideways and drain it in the sink and just let all the oil drain out. And then just mash it with a fork so it's a little crumbly. It's really good stuff. Anyways, I compared this to a can of tuna that was also in oil. So obviously, if you got a can of tuna that was in water, which I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you would get a can of tuna that's in oil. I can think of no reason why you would get tuna in oil. Anyways, if you did, that's what I compared it to because that made it seem a little bit more comparable. So the calories, so a whole can of this is 300 calories, and a whole can of tuna that's in oil, again, is 450 calories. The fat, the total fat, I didn't look up saturated fat. Maybe I should have done that. Anyways, I didn't. The total fat in a can of this is 15 grams, which is pretty high. I'm hoping that by dumping the oil off of either this or your tuna, you get rid of some of that fat. I would assume so. I'm not sure how much, but some of it for sure. And a can of tuna is 21 grams of fat. Fiber, obviously tuna has 0, but this stuff actually has 9 grams of fiber in this little can, which is kind of cool. That's a lot of fiber for a tiny little can of, it doesn't even seem like, I don't know. When I think of something that's high in fiber, I think of something that's got a lot of texture to it, and like an apple or like beans, or I don't know. This doesn't remind me of something that's got a lot of fiber. But anyways, and then protein. Obviously, the tuna wins out hands down on protein. This has 27 grams of protein, which is a lot still, in my opinion. That's a lot. Here you go, babe. Thank you, sweetie. He's gonna drain it for me. But the tuna has 60 grams of protein. So one can of tuna has more than twice what that can of vegan tuna has. I don't care though, because I'm not into high protein. So that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I wouldn't mind if the vegan tuna had a little bit less fat, but like I said, once you get that oil off of it, I'm sure that there's probably, do you think there's maybe like 2 tablespoons of oil in there? Probably not that much. Maybe a tablespoon and a tablespoon and a half. Maybe a tablespoon of oil in there. Okay, so say there's a tablespoon of oil in there. I don't know off the top of my head, but you maybe would get rid of that much fat. But anywho, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to have a cup of rice, a can of green beans, and half a can of tuna twice. That's going to be my A plus B plus C. So I'll have my A is the vegan tuna, and the B is the rice, and the C is the almost 2 cups of green beans. There's not 2 cups of green beans in a can, but it's close enough. Yeah, it's gonna be delicious and wonderful. And then in the morning, you guys, we're gonna cook. So that's it for me for now. I have to be to work early tonight by half an hour. So yeah, I'll see you guys again in the morning. Alrighty guys, so I am home and I am going to make some breakfast, and I know that I need to use zucchini because we've had a ton of little baby zucchinis in the refrigerator. They're not very big ones. And they were getting very soft. So I decided that I needed to make something with zucchini, and I thought what goes well with zucchini and Italian is what comes to mind for me. So I decided to make some Italian sausage, which will be tofu, and it will be in the A column, so a cup of that. And I'm making zucchini and onions to go into the C column, so I'll have A plus C meal. So there you go. So I just sliced the onion. I'm just gonna break that into little rings and stuff, and then just saute it like that. So I'm forever throwing food on my counter. So that's that, and then there's the little zucchinis. So I need to get that cooked up. When that's done, I'm just gonna take it out of the pan and then crumble up a thing of tofu. So the recipe that I'm going to use calls for 2 pounds of ground beef, and you make the seasonings and you mix it into there. So what I'm going to do is use half the recipe, like make the spices half the recipe. I'm going to crumble up the tofu in the pan, and then I'm going to sprinkle it over the top and mix it in. And I don't know whether I'll use all of it or not, because it's only 14 ounces for the tofu, whereas 16 ounces a pound. So I would need not quite half of a recipe, but I don't really feel like cutting it any smaller than that. That half sounds reasonable to me. So anyways, come on down to the counter and you guys can see what it is that goes into this. The one thing I will say, it calls for a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and I'm leaving that out. And it calls for 2 teaspoons of salt, which I'm totally leaving that out as well. I know salt has a big player in flavors and stuff like that. I just don't think it's gonna need it. And if I think it needs some salt, you could take like a pinch and do this over the top of your meal at the table, and that would be totally fine and way less sodium than, I mean, it's like 5,000 milligrams of sodium right there. It's 2,400 per teaspoon, so that's a lot. That's a lot. All right, come on down. Okay, so first thing, we need some dried parsley, and I need a teaspoon, if I even have a teaspoon in here. Well, that's interesting. I don't know if I do. Okay, let's find out. Well, seeing I'm getting all over the bowl too. Yeah, we're just gonna call this a teaspoon. That's fine. The container is pretty much empty. And I need a teaspoon of, well, I didn't show you the parsley, I'm sorry. Ta-da, parsley. And you need a teaspoon of some Italian seasoning. You need, okay, 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So, I don't know, that seems like an awful lot to me still. I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to flavor, you guys know this, but I'm gonna do half a teaspoon. It calls for 3/4. I'm just gonna do half. That seems like a lot of black pepper to me. 1 teaspoon of paprika. Oh, sorry. It is 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika because the recipe calls for half a teaspoon. I'm doing half, so 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. I did not get out one of those. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my garlic powder. It's half a teaspoon of this. And onion powder. One half teaspoon there. So, here are our seasonings. I'm just going to mix that up, and then going to put this on the tofu, like I said, when it's scrambled. It'll be, I'm not sure that I'll use this much, obviously, though, because it might not really need to have that much on it. So, there we go. I'm going to do this, and then when Anthony gets home, we're going to eat, and then we're going to exercise. So, we'll see how well that goes over. I'm not 100% sold on that idea, but I kind of want to eat breakfast while it's still warm. So as soon as this is made, I will come back and chat with you guys about what it tastes like and all that good stuff. So hopefully this is a good recipe for making a sausage flavor. That would be kind of cool, an Italian sausage flavor. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Yeah, I totally forgot. There's another seasoning that I'm supposed to add. So you're supposed to add fennel. I was like, there's missing something. What am I missing? Yeah, fennel. Sausage always has fennel. So anyway, fennel. It doesn't call for the seeds though. It calls for, so it says you can crush the half a teaspoon of whole seeds if you'd like. And I went ahead and did that because I don't detest fennel, but it's a very strong flavor to me. Like, it's a really strong flavor to me. So I am going to just use 1/4 of a teaspoon in there. But I had blended in our little coffee grinder. We don't drink coffee, so our coffee grinder is for spices. But yeah, fennel. That would be a good thing to add to sausage. I don't know where you get the sausage flavor. That's what I always think of when I think of sausage smell and sausage flavor is fennel. But okay, now I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Alrighty guys, so here is my Italian sausage tofu. It's not great. So as far as some recipes go, this one's not necessarily a win. It's not bad. It's not great. Yeah. Yeah, it's really not bad, but I wouldn't make it again. So if you absolutely, absolutely love fennel, give it a shot. But anyways, I'm gonna go eat with my husband, like I said, and I will be back with you guys in a little bit for some exercise. Alright guys, so breakfast is done, we're going to exercise, and I was going to tell you my husband really liked the tofu with the onions and the zucchini. He thought the sweetness of the vegetables and the seasoning on the tofu went really well together. He really enjoyed that. He said he would totally eat that again. I liked the zucchini and the onions, and I ate the rest of the tofu that I had, but I didn't think it was like super awesome or anything. It was okay flavored, but he said it was really good. He would eat it again. So if you're making some zucchini and some onions, I mean, go for it, right? Okay, so hang on a second. There we go. This is what we're doing today. It's another fast-paced cardio. So basically, it's a series of jumping jacks. So you do step jacks, then jumping, then step, then jumping, step, jumping, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah, that's what we're going to go do. 3 rotations of that, and then I'm going to be tired and ready for bed for the day. So I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.